So Turner, who are some of your competitors for Mr. Softee China, and how do you differentiate yourself from those competitors?
Okay, well, that's something we really had to think about when coming out here in terms of how do we differentiate ourselves. It's not only differentiating yourselves from your competitors, but a lot of times it's even differentiating yourself from your own company in the United States, because you really can't just take the exact model that you do in the United States. Any company really can't take the exact model they run in the United States and just plop it over here and expect it to work flawlessly, because the culture is different and the number of people are different, the city setups are different, everything's different. And so that's something, and that's actually a big mistake that a lot of companies don't understand when they come here. So that's something we did understand. So we took a lot of time to plan and figure out what we wanted to do. So we first looked at our competitor, and really to decide what you want to do, you first need to look at what your competitors are doing and see, like you said, how you can differentiate. So first we looked at our competitors, and we realized with us being in the soft ice cream business, our competitors are, and on one end would be McDonald's and KFC, because although they primarily serve hamburgers and chicken and drinks, they also serve soft ice cream. And then on the other, and so on that end, they would be the inexpensive, less expensive than us, also with a smaller menu. And then on the other end, there's Dairy Queen, which isn't as well established out here as KFC and McDonald's, but their menu is very similar to what we do in the U.S. and also potentially what we would be doing out here. So we decided that we would come in below, in terms of price, we would come in lower than Dairy Queen, but above KFC and McDonald's. And we could justify coming in above KFC and McDonald's because we sell a better product, a higher quality product, and we also have a much larger menu in terms of options. We could come in lower than Dairy Queen because because of the way we source our products. We source most of everything locally to the standards we would source in the United States, whereas I'm not so sure Dairy Queen does the same thing. And then how we differentiate ourselves, there's a few ways. Number one, most obvious way is, just like in the United States, we operate on a truck. And so the advantage of that business is you can go to where the customers are. So when you have a fixed location, like Dairy Queen or any of the other ice cream companies, you're waiting for the traffic and the customers to come to you. But with us on the truck, we're proactive in the sense that we can go find where people are. Now in China here, we do have some trucks and some stores, but our model going forward unquestionably is the truck. And so that's one way we differentiate ourselves. Another way being that we've spent the last year or so, since we opened, market testing, just through our stores and trucks, direct market testing a lot of different products that are localized products, and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And at this point now, we have a pretty good menu mixed with our traditional American products and then our local Chinese products that we can use going forward to expand the company.
All right, great. Thanks. Some good insights there on how to launch a business in China.
Yeah, it's a different beast for sure. It's not always the same as what you can do in the U.S.
Yeah. So what companies have you seen launch in China? U.S. companies in specific have launched in China and have kind of just tried to launch their same concept in China and have kind of fallen short of their expectations. Any examples you could give?
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Let me think about it. I think that it's trying to think of specific examples, but in general, I would think an arrogance on the part of U.S. companies or any foreign companies who come to China thinking they can do the exact same thing. I mean, really, when I'm talking to people in America, to kind of give them a perspective, I always just completely reverse the conversation, and it seems to make sense to them. Meaning that if a Chinese hamburger or a Chinese ice cream company came to America and just did exactly what they did in China, but did it in America, meaning they didn't come up with an American name. They didn't come up with an English name. They just used their Chinese name. They paid people the same standards you would pay, have the same management system you would use in China. And they just did this in the middle of Arkansas, or even in New York City. It's just not going to work, which is plainly obvious to anyone, really. And so, funny enough, there's companies that come to China that do the exact same thing, and a lot of times, it just doesn't work.
Okay. So what strategies have you used to grow your company thus far?
So far we've done, we're still in the relatively early stages, and the growing of so far we have we have 2 stores, and as of December we'll have 6 trucks, and as of March next year we'll have 11 trucks. And so at this point, it hasn't been so far as much about growing the company as establishing the company and kind of trying out all of our different ideas and products and tailoring it locally. So, which is also equally as important part, if not more important than the eventual growth. And so what we've done is we've set up in an area called Suzhou, which is a city of 6 million people, and it's one of the more wealthy cities in China. And 6 million sounds like a lot, but actually it's, compared to the neighboring city of Shanghai of 20 million people, it's really not a huge city. So it was manageable for us to come in here, understand the market, and I'd already been living here for 2 years. So I understood the market, I had local contacts, and it's a good testing ground for us, a place to come in and test out what we wanted to do and see what would work. And I think at this point now, a year and a half into it, we've arrived at that point to where we know exactly how the company should operate. And of course, we've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but we've learned a lot. And by keeping the company small so far, those mistakes haven't cost us a lot of money or a lot of time, and they've been easy to correct. And so now we're at a point where we think we can grow. And so I think our growth will happen in the next year to